is 10:46. I'm up late again. My alarm went off at 8. I turned it off. I went back to sleep. My mom asked if I want to go get coffee, so I think that's where I'm headed. And then I will be diving back into Always and Forever Lara Jean. I am a little late for Ariel and Raylene's read-in, but I can at least catch the second half. It is 3:09. I'm participating in another read-in on the Reading Rush Instagram. I just past the halfway point in Always and Forever Lara Jean, and she is on her way to prom. Just kidding, it's actually over in 17 minutes, so I've caught the second half of it. But we're doing Mad Libs right now.
I don't know why it made me choke, but it did. Oh Gollum, Gollum, wherefore art thou, Gollum? Deny thy monster and ride thy name, or, if thou wilt not, be but sworn my sandwich, and I'll no longer be a dullard. 'Tis but thy dagger that is my enemy. Thou art thyself, though not a candle. What's candle? Is it, oh no, it is nor manuscript, nor wing, nor piano, nor Central Park, nor any other part belonging to a pretzel. Oh, be some other name. What's in a name? That which we call a zoo by any other name would balance as scary. So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called. So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called. I got distracted because really that should have been Gollum, but it's cool. Retain that sweaty ironing board, which he owes without that title. And scene. That was ridiculous, but I really liked it.
He's got it. No! Oh, he has it. Come on. Come on,
I had a yellow.
Come on, Ronald. Come on, Ronald. Hey.
It is 11:30 p.m. and I just finished my book, Always and Forever Lara Jean. I enjoyed it a lot. It might be my favorite one. I think it might go third book, first book, second book. It was interesting that it didn't really turn into a love triangle. It's not a Team Peter versus Team John sort of thing. John Ambrose is a recipient of one of her love letters, and in the second book, he's a possibility when her and Peter are broken up. But nothing really ends up happening. They kiss once. He's in the third book once in person, and then just mentioned a handful of times. I think the only reason these aren't 5 stars is because I'm not totally sold on reading fluffy, contemporary teen/young adult romances all the time. I just never feel satisfied unless it's a good mystery. Obviously 4 stars is not shabby in any way. I flew through them, obviously. I read 1 per day, and they were enjoyable. I don't regret reading them at all. There are also some sort of moral things that are just personal taste. Things they talked about as teenagers that I didn't agree with, but it's a book. I read it. I enjoyed it for what it was, and now we're moving on. I will start a 4th book tomorrow. Right now, I'm going to take a bath and watch the Netflix movie adaptation of P.S. I Still Love You. Okay, let's discuss. I just finished the second movie. I think I like the movies more. In this movie version of the story of Peter and Lara Jean, there is, how do I put this? Let's take Peter for instance. There's less secrecy on his part with Jen, his ex-girlfriend. There are one or two instances that make her insecure and ultimately lead to their breakup, but he is not as caught up with her as he is in the books, and he isn't as secretive, and it doesn't show him texting her and hanging out with her as much, although it's implied that he does still talk to her a little bit. That brings me to another change. Lara Jean and Jen actually talk about him after they break up. And I think in the books they kind of talk, but in this one it's much more emotional and meaningful. And Jen flat out tells her Peter is crazy for her, and he's told her that several times about Lara Jean. She's honest with her and says that her parents are splitting up. Peter's been through that before, and she knows that he'll understand what she's going through. I really, really like that change. Technically, in the movie, Lara Jean is in Peter's boots because she's a lot more secretive about John Ambrose. She's a little more, I don't want to say to blame for the breakup, but she's definitely not forthcoming about stuff that she was honest about in the book. John Ambrose. Jordan Fisher's smile lights up the world. He's amazing. One thing that was interesting to me is that he's charming, he's adorable, love him to death. But in the movie, him and Lara Jean have friendship chemistry, never romantic chemistry. Her and Peter just fit. I think that in the movie, I see it so clearly why I'm Team Peter for Lara Jean and not Team John. John Ambrose is too similar to Lara Jean, and she needs someone like Peter who pushes her in positive ways. She says it's easy with John, as in like she's not necessarily always nervous and fluttery and jittery, although when she first sees him, she knocks over a candy bowl and then trips on the candy and falls on the floor and hits her head. After that, she says it's easy in that way. But with Peter, it's not easy. She's in love with Peter. She's not in love with John. I really like the movies, and I'm excited to see what they do with the third movie because I really liked the book. Well, that's it. 3 days into the reading rush, I've started and completed the To All the Boys I've Loved Before trilogy. I have 4 more books left. I have a goal of finishing 2 books tomorrow. I need to pick a comic book for my book to read outside. And then this year, instead of reading a book and then watching the adaptation, you're supposed to read a book that you've already seen the movie adaptation of before. English language words. I chose something short that I already had on my shelf. Growing up, I loved the Stuart Little movie. I think there were 2 movies or something like that. Anyways, I love the Stuart Little movie, and I have the book. So I'm going to read that, optimistic that by day 5, I'll be down to my last 2 books. I'll end the talking clips here and say good night. This is the end of Reading Rush Day 3. I will see you later today for Reading Rush Day 4. Okay, well, I guess that wasn't goodbye. Slightly teary-eyed. Honestly, Lara Jean reminds me a lot of me because I was like her at that age, a hopeless romantic. I just brought out this little box. Thought I'd share with you some of what's inside. What a sap. Now I'm just bitter. Here's a seashell. Don't really know why I put it in here. It just seems so perfect, even though it's actually lopsided, but it just seems perfect. This belonged to my grandma, who I never met. She is my paternal grandma, and this is literally the only thing I have of hers, besides an old family picture or 2. This is a dreidel. I'm Jewish, and yeah, just a little piece of my heritage. Here is my frog. That's potentially a prince. On the inside, we have a little heart charm that says love on it. And a fortune. An admirer is concealing his affection for you. When I got that fortune, I thought, done deal. And boy, was I wrong. This is a little keepsake that was a Christmas gift, I believe. I dried some flowers that I received during one of my dance recitals from my dad. I put them in here and I said that I would not open this until I got married. Still closed. And this little book locket with 2 lovebirds and a flower. Sappy, I know. This is my diary. I think someone I danced with brought this back from China. This holds many, many secrets that I absolutely cannot show you because there's a heck of a list of names in there. These are Love Is comic strips that I saved from newspapers. Do you guys know what a newspaper is? Would you look at that? Ugh. Good times. This is a note I received in college. What's your number? You seem cool. Call me, Drake. And it has a line for my number, so I can fill it in and pass it back. This guy had asked me for a scrap of paper, and I thought he needed it to take notes. When he passed it back to me without folding it, I thought he decided he didn't need it anymore, so I stuffed it back in my folder. So when he asked me if I had read his note after class, I had no idea what he was talking about. He seemed absolutely mortified, and he never talked to me again. And I feel really bad, but also relieved because I do not know how I would have handled that. This is one of my favorite Bible verses. Set me as a seal upon your heart, as a seal upon your arm. For love is as strong as death, jealousy as cruel as the grave. Its flames are flames of fire, a most vehement flame. Many waters cannot quench love, nor can floods drown it. If a man would give for love all the wealth of his house, it would be utterly despised. Song of Solomon 8:6 through 7. Good old Song of Solomon, huh? This is from a Christian teen and young women's magazine. I think it was called Brio magazine. Find 45 more reasons it's cool to be solo. Wow, this is a great roadmap for me now. And that is all she wrote. Thank you for taking that trip down memory lane with me. Let's just pretend like before I turned on the camera, I wasn't crying.